We're talking about industrial accidents this morning on Studio 10 in Legal Matters. Employees of industrial workplaces that are involved in accidents can sustain some of the most horrific injuries. David Green from Green & Phillips is here to talk about what steps you should take if you or a family member is involved in an industrial accident. So first off, David, how common are these?
Well, they're very common. They happen every day, and many times they're not reported. And so we have so many plants around. We used to have the International Paper Company where my father retired from, Scott Paper Company, all the different chemical plants all the way up Highway 43. You've got large plants everywhere, and many times these are simply not reported. It's very important to make sure, and there may be a simple cut on a hand or a bruised arm or a broken bone. Generally, they should be reported. It's required to report it, but you need to make sure if you're injured on the job in an industrial plant that you make sure it's reported.
So that answers my question. Of course, what do you mean when you say industrial accident? That's what qualifies that as one of those accidents.
That's right. It happens in a plant, in a manufacturing facility. It could be any of the plants. I mean, anything that's being manufactured, that is an industrial plant. And there's certain safety precautions that are required, and that's very necessary to keep people safe, and most plants do a great job of it. Some don't, and sometimes people get injured as the result of the negligence of a co-employee or perhaps some third-party contractor that comes in and hurts someone who works there. Very important to make sure you report it and then make sure you talk to a lawyer.
Okay, that was my next question. What should someone do if they're involved in an industrial accident?
Well, report it, talk to their employer, but then talk to a personal injury lawyer that handles that particular type of case and ask them, do you handle industrial cases? Go to their website, look at their website, determine whether or not they've handled a case like that and whether or not they're equipped to be able to do it. Sometimes these cases cost a tremendous amount of money, and a lot of law firms are not equipped to spend the money on a case to work the case up for the plaintiff. I
know you guys have at Green & Phillips have done industrial accident cases. Talk about maybe one or two of those that you've handled.
Well, over the years we've handled industrial falls. I recall one probably 10 years ago where a man fell off of a handrail. The handrail was faulty. He fell to his death. And so those type of accidents happen more than people actually realize. It happens a lot. Industrial falls are very, very common. Burn cases are very common. Somebody being run over by a forklift, getting their foot squished by a forklift. That's very common. And so you need to make sure you have a lawyer. And if you're hurt on the job, you have a case, and you need to make sure you take care of yourself. I recall a case one time where I had a gentleman who came to me who actually, his boss asked him to lie about where he was hurt. Do not ever let your boss convince you to lie about where you were hurt. That will cost you in the long run. Now, if they fire you, they can't fire you because you were hurt on the job. But down the road, many years from now, if you've got a back problem as a result of that injury, you won't have workers' compensation benefits because your boss ask you to lie.
You know, an interesting point you brought up there. A lot of people may be concerned about getting fired if they do hire an attorney for one of these types of cases.
That's right. Alabama has some real specific law that says if you retaliate against someone because they filed a workers' compensation claim or case, then they can be sued for it. So there's a particular part of the statute that allows individuals to go after the employer for that.
Always great information, David. Thank you for coming in. David Green with Green & Phillips. Information on industrial accidents. If you're thinking you may be involved in one, or if in the future you're involved in one, check out this segment on fox10tv.com under the Studio 10 tab, and that's under Legal Matters. Great advice as always, David. Thank you.
Thank you.